Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE with Gemma Allen. We're live here in San Francisco, California for Dreamforce 2025, where we're breaking down all the action on the agentic infrastructure and the software that's changing the game. Of course, it's creating a lot of opportunities, and you got the Salesforce Ventures here, and one of their portfolios, because they're a rising star company, rocket ship, unicorn. Psyched about this segment. Paul Drew's managing partner, Salesforce Ventures. Habib, CEO of Writer and founder of Writer, co-founder of Writer. Great to have you both on. First of all, big fan of the success and rise of your company and the investments you guys are making with them and what Salesforce is doing. So thanks for coming on, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Paul, we'll start with you. What was attractive on your investment in Writer? Obviously their last round, significant, good valuations, in line with the market, but what was the main driver for the investment in Writer?
So a little over 3 years ago, we launched our generative AI fund. And really early on, we realized one of the most important aspects of investing in this ecosystem is team. This market is moving so quickly, the pace of innovation is unlike anything we've ever seen before. So we really need to partner with entrepreneurs who can stay at the forefront. And that's exactly what May and Wasim are doing. They have this perfect blend of technical expertise and go-to-market focus that enterprise customers really need when they're adopting AI. And that's why I think they've had so much traction with incredible accounts like Goldman Sachs and Accenture and others, and that's why we were thrilled to partner with them.
May I have to ask you the same question. I did meet Wasim last year at the IA40 Madrona Ventures event, so I had a little taste of what's going on there, but why Salesforce Ventures? What was the factor there for you?
Yeah, distribution, and I think the customers that we work with in the Fortune 500 have got just incredible depth inside of the Salesforce ecosystem. And Writer we see as a platform for AI-first operations, which means we're helping people invent new things to do and new ways of working that they couldn't do before agentic AI. And so much of the context we need to build agents that are incredibly powerful and new workflows that are very impactful have to do with data that lives inside of the Salesforce ecosystem. And so, for us that was just kind of on paper an incredible fit. And then you meet the actual humans and the individuals, and it's very clear that their obsession with the enterprise really mirrors our own, and just every interaction, it's about putting the customer success first, and there is just so much synergy. We actually have a lot of Salesforce and Slack people at the company now as well, and the DNAs are really meshing.
And May, one thing I think is really interesting about you is you've been working and talking about AI since, lots of us knew about AI, right? You've been in this game a long time. And you've got some great core principles here at Writer around human agency, remaining an enterprise, and around guardrails. Tell us a little bit about how, though you've stayed true to those principles, as speed and agility and the hype curve has really sped up in the space.
Yeah, absolutely. We see ourselves as very much human first and AI native, and being able to work with the subject matter experts at our customers to design the end-to-end workflows that make AI really impactful, that's our secret sauce. And to do that in a vertical specific way, that's also something that we really admire about how Salesforce has gone to market, is really important. So we've got people who have worked in finance, people who've worked in asset management, people who've worked in pharma, people who've worked in retail at Writer, designing these solutions with a lot of subject matter expertise. Now, for 10 years plus, Wasim and I have been in the NLP and machine learning space, and with Writer, we are targeting the biggest companies in the world, because for them to use AI, there is a ton of regulatory and compliance. There is such a high bar for accuracy and precision, and there's a lot of calcification of process and systems. And so we get to go in and with a lot of depth on both technology and industry, come in with a blank sheet of paper and say, how would we design this process in 2025? And we're doing it with a lot of empathy for where they are and a lot of understanding of these actual jobs to be done. And
one of the things that we cover on the enterprise side, we cover like a blanket, it's like that famous quote from Thomas Edison, I failed 200,000 times to create electricity. The failure stats from MIT, people are talking about that, I kind of debunked that a little bit, but there's experimentation, then there's reality. Can you guys share the status of where the enterprise is? Because they have pre-existing conditions. You mentioned some of the hurdles, high resilience bar and security, data's in silos, it may not be ready, so there's a readiness, there's the enablement. What's the blocker right now in the enterprise, and what's the answer? We're seeing Salesforce doing it themselves, You're probably investing in the inorganic side, but share maybe the thoughts of what you're seeing with customers.
Yeah, it's not just one failure mode, John. I mean, there are multiple, but if I had to categorize them, I think one failure mode is the quality, right? We are building agents that folks don't trust 100% of the time, and we believe, and this has shaped our entire architecture of how we built the product, that the people closest to the work have to be responsible for the business logic, have to be responsible for giving AI the context that it needs, have to be able to very easily connect to data and systems, which is why we are partnered so deeply with Salesforce on those types of integrations. And when you give them that power, right, to build that context and actually really iterate on those agents, you see really tremendous progress. Another error mode, or failure mode, is IT governance. And if you don't have governance, you don't have scale. Nobody wants the proliferation of insecure agents that are out there and polluting folks' data or creating shadow IT. But at the same time, IT understands this is not another software upgrade. Like, this is not something that IT can do on their own. Their role now is to enable the business. Every business leader is a technologist now. And so what we've done is really centralize that kind of governance, and everything is very fine-grained and very native to generative AI, from the types of roles and permissions you can build. I can edit an agent that Paul built, but only John can deploy it. Like, that doesn't exist in any other system.
And Paul, I want to get your thoughts, because as an investor on the Salesforce side, one clear thing over the past 2 years with Agentforce has been the ecosystem expansion of Salesforce. I mean, you had a great ecosystem within Salesforce, but now that you're in some of these challenges, the kind of our ecosystem, our tribe, a lot of partnerships. Writers, one, okay? Others are out there. This is now a whole nother thing. How does that impact the enterprise? Because they have heterogeneous, interoperable environments that are needed, and kind of old systems that need to be kind of abstracted away.
Well, we think this is the largest platform shift of our lifetimes, and we're just in the second or third inning of this. Last year or 2 years ago, enterprises were really experimenting. How can we use AI? And now, this year, we're starting to see enterprises move from that experimentation to actually rolling out AI in production. And we're starting to see use cases amongst our portfolio with companies like Anthropic that are bringing out Claude Code for developers, companies like Writer that are really helping solve meaningful enterprise pain points across verticals like financial services and healthcare and insurance. And so we think we're just at the beginning and really scratching the surface of what can be done with AI in the enterprise.
And Paul, let's talk a little bit about the hype cycle for AI, right? I know if you've seen the memes around, if you want to get investment, you need to put AI in your company name. There's definitely been some jokes in that regard. I'm sure you see a lot of opportunity and a lot of great opportunity, and May obviously gave some excellent quality examples there. How do you think about the differentiators from an investment perspective?
First and foremost, it's the team. We need to be partnering with entrepreneurs who can stay ahead of the curve of innovation, again, like May and Wasim. And then we'll work closely with our colleagues at Salesforce to help us evaluate where is there open space to really be innovating in and that we should be investing in. Help us kind of evaluate the different platforms that are out there and sift through all of the noise, because there's a lot of hype right now, but again, we think this is the largest shift of our lifetimes, and so we're really excited to invest behind that.
Salesforce was a customer before they were an investor.
Yeah,
So
I like the DNA angle. Good partnerships should have good DNA, shared mission, shared vision. On the enterprise side, you're seeing NVIDIA, starting to see the infrastructure scale up. Big stories are out there, we cover it like a blanket again, NVIDIA, AMD, so the AI and the clouds and the neo clouds. So you're going to see the enterprise starting to tap this. Any commentary on how that will enable Writer and more opportunities to sit on top and ride that S-curve of performance and more tokens, because that's coming. So what's your vision, May, and Paul, what's your perspective?
Yeah, it's been incredible to have the partnership of folks like Matt Garman at AWS for Writer. We use an infra platform called Baseten, and seeing the innovation in that space. It just allows us to really focus at what we're best at, and really help us get to partners who can really work with us to get the fastest service possible to the customer. So it's incredible that we don't have to we are full stack, but be like full stack down to the bare metal.
And what's that enabling you guys on a roadmap and what you're optimizing for from a product standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool. What's on our research roadmap right now is all around enterprise context and enterprise memory. How do you build LLMs that can remember the interactions they've had with the employees, the users, and how we can have LLMs really generalize from that learning. So you're not just needing to stuff everything in a context window, but you actually have models that are evolving to be able to serve the customer better. We are going to be in a situation soon where our most sophisticated customers have agents that themselves are throwing off data and intelligence and insight and business logic. And so how you capture that to be able to really create something even more powerful is what we're working on next, and these are of course going to be models at even a larger order of magnitude of scale.
And it seems the word of the week here is Agentforce. Like it's definitely, we're hearing it time and time again with all the guests coming on. Tell me a little bit about how you think about that, especially from the perspective of AI, work automation to AI orchestration. Like where do you see the bottlenecks? What do you hear from customers? Like what's the small hiccup or final mile challenge you hear about most often?
Yeah, well we're very excited about the interoperability of agents built on Writer with agents built on Agentforce. We've got great use cases already between our two companies with Salesforce as a customer. Most customers are not at the sophistication level of needing one agent handing off to another agent, is the reality. But nobody wants to be locked into platforms that are not interoperable, to data and AI platforms that aren't going to be able to work on their heterogeneous stacks. And so it's a great opportunity for us as an agentic company, and it's a great opportunity for partnerships like ours with Salesforce.
What's the wins out there you're seeing? What are people doing right? Where's the learnings? Because we're kind of in this transition mode. I think a step function will come very quickly based on some of the performance we're seeing here with the examples. I mean, just what the Slack's doing across Data Cloud, now Cloud Data 360, or Agentforce blank, whatever it's called. I think there's a name for it now, but it's now integrated, harmonized, unified. What are some of the challenges, what are the learnings, May, that you've seen enterprise do right, and what do they get wrong on execution? Is it process challenge? Is it change management? What's your view on, because everyone's trying to jump in as fast as they can.
Yeah.
They're swimming in the deep end.
Yeah, totally.
They need help.
They need help. Giving everybody a chatbot isn't producing the kinds of productivity and real business changes that folks are looking for. Nor is IT building everything on their own and taking this like big burden on their back. And so the democratization of the sophisticated stuff that IT can do, and then really being able to work with the business to think bigger, think broader. And this is not something that will always come bottoms up. I mean, bottoms up we do get incredible use cases, but it's really only top down and a C-suite executive that can say, we are going to change the way we do these big processes. And so really inspiring at every level of the business and giving them the certifications, the training, the inspiration that suits their level of business confidence, of AI confidence, has been a big part of what we bring in addition to the technology and platform.
Has there been kind of a transition on evaluation? Maybe evaluation, but we're seeing, like, I call it POC sprawl and POC backlog. The old school days of, hey, IT, knock on the door, we'll do a 1-year contract, stand in line, it's like almost like the airport. Is there a TSA pre-clear line? I mean, how are enterprises onboarding? Because they have pre-existing stuff. They have servers from Dell, they have stuff that they're transitioning, so the stack has to fit into that high bar.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you've seen that's working, or is that right? Is there a bottleneck? Is there a backlog?
And I would love to get you guys' view on this as well. I've actually seen the competitive environment get slightly easier over the last couple of months even, because now everyone has Copilot, everyone has a chatbot, everyone understands the limitations of that. We had a CIO deep from Franklin Templeton tell an audience that we were with Iconic Capital recently, everyone knows now, you can't just give all your data to ChatGPT and suddenly you've rewired everything. Like, it doesn't work that way, you need more work. So there's just a lot more sophistication that has come out of people spending money that has not necessarily gone anywhere. And I do think the evaluators in IT now really know what they're looking for. from a interoperability perspective, from a lifecycle and governance perspective of those agents, the level of depth that they want their business users to be able to get to, it looks so different than it did even 6 months ago.
Look, we talked a little bit about the hype cycle earlier. What I think differentiates this hype cycle from others is there's real enterprise demand for this. Enterprises are pulling AI solutions into their workforces, but one of the barriers is around trust. They don't know how to roll AI out to their 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 employees in a trusted manner, and that's one of the things we look to invest behind. One of the reasons we were really excited to partner with May and the team at Writer is because they are delivering AI solutions in a compliant, secure, and trusted manner, and I think that's the unlock that enterprises are really looking for.
All right, we got to wrap there and really appreciate the time. May,
Thank you,
great to have you on theCUBE.
Thank you, John.
This is on our bucket list item. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
me.
Paul, is always great, but I like to end with a comment on where we are in the hype cycle. What would you say if someone at a dinner party, a family relative, I'm sure you get this a lot, what do you do? Where are we in this agent cycle? How real is it? Paul, we'll start with you, we'll end with May.
It's definitely real. We're in the second or third inning. The best is yet to come. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Hey, close us out.
Yeah, I echo that 100%. It might feel like it's a trough of disillusionment right now, but there is hope at the end of the tunnel. The results are real. We just got to bring them now to the rest of the market.
The rubber's meeting the road. theCUBE is here doing its part, bringing that truth to you. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back after this short break.